Actually show. Let's go over next.
Okay, I'm just doing an audio check for the online students. Hi, Jalen, can you hear me clearly? Good. I hear somebody's speak. I don't hear. Were you just speaking, Jalen? I didn't get. Oh, it might be. Hold on. Go ahead. Is that somebody on YouTube? I hear somebody's. Oh, it's
Jalen, I
somebody.
think your microphone's playing some TV background.
Okay. Yeah, good. Is that Jalen? Yeah, I think we heard you clearly. Good. Yeah. Was that okay? Good. Oh, Tessa's in. Okay, great. So, hi, Brandon. How you doing?
I'm doing good, hopefully.
Great. Good. Yeah. Oh, technically. Hi, Mubarak. Yeah, great. Wow. Got quite a few students. I was expecting fewer just because it's our second last class. This is a difficult time of year for students to get in person because of the exams and assignments that are due now. So we're going to be focusing on that today. I'm going to help you. Excellent. Okay, so somebody's got their microphone or going. Or there's some background noise. Sounds like a child. But anyways, try to mute yourselves, everybody online, and I don't know where that's coming from, but I'll see. So everybody's muted. Anyway, it's not so bad. If somebody's dog starts to bark, that becomes problematic. That's okay. I like dogs. I like babies. That's all right. I don't know where the baby's coming from. And if anybody's, whoever is listening to, just manage the baby, but it's okay. The baby can join the class.
I'm just kidding. He's still there.
It could be something coming in on YouTube. Hold on, it's getting a bit annoying there. Let me just see. Is it? Oh, it could be. Okay, here's our. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna just start. I'll bring. Oh, now it's quiet. Excellent. Lovely. Thank you. And I'm gonna bring everything up on the big board shortly. I just always like to start with this nice signage we have here, done especially for the Global Classroom. Jalen? Okay, Jalen?
I'm good.
Is it your microphone? Yeah, there we go. Thanks. Okay. Thank you, Carol. We are ready to start the class. Just give me one little moment here to make sure we are technically all in. And I think we are, and my microphone is working, and we can have this spacecraft lifting off. And I think we are all set. Okay. Welcome, everyone, to our penultimate, second last class of the semester in Humanities Destiny. And I'm sorry I couldn't be with you last week. Some things came up I had to deal with, but I'm here, and I will be here next week as well. But today's class is really important because I want to focus a lot on this big assignment that's coming next week, due Friday, December the 15th. And I'm going to put the sort of lecture that I was planning to give mostly aside today on neuroscience and on the end of space exploration, because I really want to make sure that you do well on this final assignment. I want to go through the assignment sheet. I have been concerned from some of the emails I've been getting from some of my 202 or 3 students this semester in my 3 courses, of the fact that some students are not actually able to access the assignment sheet. I think they're not telling me the whole truth. Sometimes students hide behind technology and say, but we all kind of do that. We use tech as an excuse when we just don't want to do the work. But there is an assignment sheet. It has been posted for quite some time. It is available, and I want to make sure everybody knows. So I'm not going to assume anything in terms of the in-person students, whether you've seen it or not, or the online students, the students watching the recording as well. I'm just going to assume for at least the next little while in the class today that you haven't seen it, because I want to make sure that you see it, you understand it, and you're ready to absolutely nail this final reflection. This is different than what you've been doing in your previous 5 reflections. This is a big reflection. It's an assignment, a full assignment with an assignment sheet. The marking scheme is out of 50 now, not out of 10. You have 30% of your final grade riding on this. So it's really important that you do well. And it's an exciting assignment because you'll have a lot of options. And I'm also going to be giving you one new option that has just emerged in the last couple of days that I'd like to present to you today. So to give you lots and lots of choice. So that's the main part of today's class. And I also want to touch on this idea of legacy, because that really is the final part of humanity's destiny. And that is, after all of the topics we've been touching on and exploring, it all comes back in the end to how do you bring together the knowledge, the discussions, and everything you've been thinking about this semester in terms of how you think about your own life and your own future, and what might you want your legacy to be while you're alive on planet Earth. It's not something that you ordinarily think about when you walk into a classroom, the idea that you're thinking about your whole life and you'd like to now think about how you want your life to go. But that's the space that you have in this room and that we've been exploring this semester. It's all about the future. Well, now legacy, the final part, is about your future while you're alive. And I hope that when I say something like while you're alive, it doesn't sound kind of depressing. It should be, by the end of today's class, kind of energizing and inspiring, that you're going to think about, really think about, where do you want to be at the end of your life? If you had children or grandchildren, or you had a family, or if you didn't, you had the opportunity to teach or show younger people what they need to know. What would you tell them in terms of your own life? How would you guide them? What do you want to do in your life that's going to make some difference? And it doesn't have to be change the world. That's, very daunting. But what do you want to do? Where do you want to be when you're, let's say, 100 years old? Because we're all living longer. And you have a chance now today to think back of, I'm 100 and I'm looking back and what did I do? What legacy did I leave? What am I going to tell those younger people that's important about the way I lived? And I'm going to start in a moment to help you with that, with a video from a good musician, and his name is Marshall Mathers, or Eminem. Some of you may know of him, and he has a wonderful song and a video called When I'm Gone. Have any of you ever heard the song When I'm Gone or seen the video? Eminem, When I'm Gone? Usually, yeah, hi. Are you a student in the class? Oh, you are? Okay. Oh, you're Mirsa. Mirsa, oh, okay. I haven't seen you in person. Okay. Well, welcome, Mirsa. So let's just make sure everybody's got the microphone. So you've been watching the recordings and everything, so you know kind of how things go. So take a microphone and, for the moment, and we'll leave these for the others. It's always nice to see a student come in person, and it's pronounced Mirs Raf? Rafe. Oh, that's pretty cool. Rafe. Okay, Rafe. Thanks. I like that. Mirs is good too, but whatever you like. We're in a time in the world, Rafe, when we got to adapt to a lot of change. People change their names. People change their hair. People change their gender. Right, Cece? Not, but you're going to. But you brought up a very good topic. about gender that we've explored. So we have to be ready for a lot of change in this world. It's complex. So I'm going to touch on this idea of legacy. I'm going to leave the neuroscience and the end of space exploration to perhaps next week, or we'll see. I can't do everything. The critical thing is that I get you ready for this final assignment, because you want to do well, and you do not want to be having artificial intelligence doing this assignment for you. So before I continue, let's just see who's on board, and we can have a little chat, and then we'll get rolling. So I see Brandon is there. We've already checked in. It's working. Brandon, of course, Carol signed in as well. She's in person. Jalen's here. Rafe is there. Tessa is there. And we have, come on in. We have Mubarak. We have Cece. We have Mediha. We have Carol is there. Prerna, Grayson, Nico, and Aniket. Aniket, right. I know I've seen your reflections online. You haven't been here in person, have you? Yeah? Oh, good to see you. Okay, and then finally walked in is Shivani. Yeah, Shivani, good. Okay, I'm getting better at pronunciation. Okay. Somebody's, yeah, good. Okay. So we've got a few students on board, and then there are all the students joining in the recordings, and thank you for your good reflections. I am way behind in marking. I am working on it every day, and I'm getting everything back to you. But I think I've only done reflection 3 for this class, and I still have reflection 4 to mark, and then reflection 5 just came in on December the 1st, and now we're going to be talking about reflection 6, which is your big assignment. So that's all by way of saying that I'm actually going to give you a little bit of feedback on what I've been reading as well. Okay, so before we get into the feedback, before we get into Eminem's video and legacy, and before we really look at your final assignment and we look at the assignment sheet and make sure you understand, does anybody have anything they'd like to bring to the class's attention? And I should bring things up on the big board while I'm saying this. So hold on, please go ahead while I give some thought to what I'd like to do.
Is the assignment based on legacy? Is that what I heard?
You absolutely, but we're going to be talking. Is that Brandon?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll be talking more about that in a moment. But for sure, anything?
Okay.
Yeah. But we're also going to go through the assignment sheet, Brandon, that is posted on DC Connect. So if you haven't gone through it yet, not to worry. We're going to touch on it and understand it today. So by the end of today's class, you're really going to have a good idea of how you want to do your final reflection. So, any questions? Anything on your mind about anything that you would like to talk about? Brandon just asked about legacy and the final reflection. Okay, good. Well, then I'm going to show you the video now because it's kind of inspiring. And then we will get going on at least talking a little bit about legacy. But I want to get to feedback as quickly as I can, and then I really want to work through the assignment sheet with you. Okay, so for the students online, I have posted the link of the video, the When I'm Gone Eminem's video, right there. Go ahead and click on it, and please watch it. His music video for his song, When I'm Gone. Just keep your microphone off so we can't hear it. And I'm going to run it for everybody here. Okay, so here we go. Hopefully this will work. I'm clicking everything as I should. Just a second. I know why that is. Okay, I want you to think about what you have just seen and why I would show this video and why you would watch it with some interest, as I saw you in a class in Humanities Destiny, in which we are touching on this idea of legacy today. And I'd like to have a little discussion with you about this before we continue with the important part of today's class. But this is something that I want to make sure you understand, because this is an attitude that is going to come and be important in your final assignment. So let me just see. Great. Okay, so everybody is there. And what exactly is Eminem or Marshall Mathers singing about here that is important for us to think about right now? Do you want to try before I help you? I've put some thoughts already on the board behind me, but I'd like you to try. Think. Okay. It's all right if you don't have anything you want to answer at this point, because I wasn't planning on spending a lot of time on this right now. I just want to introduce this idea of reflecting back on your life. And I would like you to think of a word somehow, just a word that you think is really important, that sums up the feeling that Eminem is trying to bring to us in this video. It's a feeling. Something is important to him as he thinks back on his life of success. And he's doing it as a younger man. I'm asking you now to think about, just begin to open yourself up to this idea that you are at the end of your life, that you're there, and today you're going to be thinking about what you want to have done, what you want your future to be, so that when you do get to the end of the life, you will like what you see in the mirror. That's all. Just think about that for the moment, okay? Now, I'm going to come back to this, and we're going to understand more about how you see your legacy. But now I really want to talk about the final assignment and about some feedback. So unless there are any questions, Tessa, Jalen, Brandon, you're all okay online? I don't see any activity there. And here I see students listening and thinking, and that's all good. So if there's anything you want to say, just jump in. But I'm going to start with a bit of the sort of the bad news, okay, about feedback. There are students whose assignments or reflections I've been marking who are receiving an immediate 0 from me. I don't think there are any in person here that I'm seeing. I'm pretty sure, okay? You would have known already. The reason you would automatically get a 0 is because I am smelling so clearly AI in this assignment. And I don't even have a detector that's helping me. I can just tell from the writing that it's so generic. You're not referring to things that have been discussed in class. And the writing is so clear and good sometimes. I can't believe that some of the students who are international students have English that's that good. And I have experience with this. If you get a 0 from me like that, automatically you're wondering, why did he give me a 0? You probably know already in your heart that you did not write that assignment. You use technology to write it for you. So you know, you can put it together. But if you don't know, just email me and ask me, and I will help you to really understand, and I will always give you a chance. I say this because right now you have a big assignment coming next week that's worth 30%. If you did that on your final assignment, you will fail this course completely. It'll be crash and burn for you. So if you're having trouble writing, if you don't care about the content in this class, if you're panicking or whatever, please send me an email and say, Lon, I need help. And most of the students in this class are online and they're watching the recordings. I think there's something like 50 students or so in this class, and you can see that there's probably about 15 right now or so online. So most of them are watching the recordings, and I never get to meet them. And so please, for all of you, and also continue, as you've written in your reflections, to learn from the students in this class, because students are saying this in the reflections, that they like the interaction. They learn from what, and that's exactly what I'm hoping students will get from this class, is they learn from you and me together. So we will always have good interaction here. The second thing too is that if you're getting a mark that's sort of around 7 or 10 or 6 out of 10 in there, probably it's your writing mechanics. You've really got to work on the writing, and I can help you with that. Just email me and say, Lon, I do want the help, and I will get you the tutor that you need. And I do give out quite a few 10s as well, and that's my way of saying, just keep doing what you're doing. You know, and I have so many students, I can't give you specific feedback on why you're doing so well, but you will clearly know that you don't really need to change anything. Just keep writing and thinking and listening at that level, and you're going to do great in this course. Okay? Sometimes as well, students are thin on content. They will repeat the same thing again and again as if that's the only idea really they want to talk about, because they haven't watched the recordings. They haven't been to class. So they're hoping that by repeating things in different ways, they'll get a mark. Well, you're not going to get a very good mark. So please listen. No AI at all. As much as we love AI today and we're trying to use it well, do not use it as a crutch. It's going to make you so stupid in your life if you keep relying on AI to do the thinking for you. But it's an amazing tool. Definitely use it, but learn how to use it well, okay? Email me if you have any questions and you need help. If you know you have trouble writing, contact me. Please listen to the conversations, watch the recordings, think about what we've discussed. You do all of that, you're going to do really well in this course. That's sort of the bad news. I don't know if it sounds that bad, but yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, I did have struggles with the last assignment, not with the glitch thing, but for me, I didn't know that was a thing. For me, was the problem was the second recent class, or the last class, and the
Yes.
class before that were kind of very similar. So it was for the first reflection, I remember I was talking about colonization because we were talking about just
Yes.
Mars, and
Yep.
then the next lesson, then we talked about colonization of Mars. So I was like, oh, so I couldn't think of anything. So I had bigger things for the other assignments, so I kind of gave up on that one. So like I'm expecting I'm gonna get a 0 on that one because obviously I didn't submit anything.
Oh, but wait a
So,
minute, Brandon. Is that Brandon? That's Brandon?
Yes.
Wait,
Yes.
wait a minute. Is that reflection 3 or 4?
I think it was 4. Which one's the one we're about to do?
Well, you should have done 5 by now. Okay, so by December the 1st. And I don't want to give you a 0. I don't want to give any of you a 0. So why would you assume I'm going to give you a 0?
Because I didn't submit anything.
Oh, you didn't submit it. Oh, okay, so it wasn't delivered. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Because I
Sure.
literally couldn't
Sure.
give anything, and to be
Okay.
honest, I was struggling with something else, and I was trying to I was like, okay, this class I did
Okay.
fine. The other ones I'm really struggling. I was trying to focus on that instead. So
All right. Well, you didn't submit it. So
yeah.
I mean, I will give students, everybody gets 1 extension that they're allowed during the semester. And if you can make a real case to me you know, that there was some sort of serious emergency and that's why you didn't deliver, I'll listen. But it doesn't sound like it. It just sounds like you didn't have much to say and you just
Yeah,
said, okay,
I-
well, okay.
yeah. I just wanted to say that since like I definitely know we were struggling with earlier about your. I just thought of saying that because we were talking about how you're saying two classes were saying or like reflection saying the same thing but differently, and I kind of felt like the same class with the same thing with the last two classes because we were talking about Mars for two classes, and I'm not really a space person, so I didn't know anything else to talk about. So, yeah.
Okay, I can't change that. You're going to have to accept that 0. But
Yeah.
here's the learning, Brandon. Here's
Mhm.
the learning in the future for yourself. If ever you feel like you can't deliver something on a job, in a class, then talk to your boss or talk to your professor and just say, listen, I'm having trouble. I need help. That's all you have to
Mhm.
do. Reach out. Always reach out to people who are
Yeah.
there to help you. Don't just let it go, okay? But that's just a little lesson for you. That's why you're in school, you know, to make these kinds of little mistakes so you can learn. But there's a mistake here you made, which is you're getting a 0 and you didn't have to get a 0. Had you just simply reached out to me, I would have helped you. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. Good. I just want you to be aware of that. Okay. You're here to learn, you know, and you learn most when you kind of fail a little bit. That's the best learning. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the assignment sheet. I want to bring it up and really go through it with you. And then we're going to come back after this and we're going to finish up with this idea of legacy. I really want to explore this with you, each and every one of you today. So here we go. First, and I'll just enlarge this right now so everyone can see this clearly. For the online students, you should be able to see this on the big board behind me, and I'll just enlarge it even more. Here is where you're finding everything about the 6th reflection in an announcement on DC Connect. It's right there for you. And here is the assignment sheet. And I'm going to open it and hold on.
I'm not sure if you can hear me, but we can't hear you at the moment.
Oh, hey, just a second. Can you hear me now, Brandon? You should be able to hear me now. Hold on. Do we have a tech? A little. We should. And I've got everything. working.
I can hear you okay.
Okay, good. You can hear me? Good.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So here we go. I'm going to enlarge, and I just want to also give you some good news as well about this, that you can receive a 10% bonus on this assignment if you get it in on December 14th or earlier. Okay, so we're talking about this assignment being due Friday, December the 15th. If you get it in on Thursday to December the 14th at 11:59 p.m. or earlier, you will get a 10% bonus. And when I say 10%, what I mean is that let's say you receive a grade of 40 out of 50. It will be 10% of 40, so you get 44 out of 50. It's not 10% like 60% becomes 70% or 70% becomes 80%. It's 10% of the mark that I give you, okay? So that's all on DC Connect, but this assignment or this, it's a reflection, but it's an extended reflection. Please raise a hand if you've seen this assignment sheet already, and you will not lose any marks or I won't punish you or anything if you don't raise your hand. I'm assuming you haven't. Okay, so Carol, she's always on top of everything. It's great. Terrific. Prerna? I'm going to put this down on the big board, okay? Hold on. So let me make sure I've got, so now we're talking about reflection 6, the final.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna talk again. My microphone, or not my microphone, somehow I actually muted the whole Chrome extension. I don't know how I did that. So where did you got that file? I've been trying to search
No
for
problem.
it.
Okay, well, just watch the big board, okay? I'm think this should work. You should be able to see this clearly. So Prerna has asked when to do so. Friday, February. Sorry, your professor's having Friday, December 15th. Right? That's Friday, December the 5th. Today is the 6th. Next week is the 13th. And then Friday, December the 15th, it is due. But 10% bonus December 14th or earlier. Okay? So that's what we're talking about right now. I have a secret sort of mission here. You may not have put it together yet. I would not expect you to. Legacy and your final reflection are very connected because I want you to think back on this final reflection you did in this class and be super proud of what you did. As a matter of fact, I'm hoping that when you think about your future and you think about where you will be in your life, that you will be proud of yourself at the end of your life for what you did. And you don't have to change the world, but you've got to do something, right? You've got to do something that you're going to be really proud of. If you have to sit your own children down or grandchildren and tell them what you did, don't you want to tell them about something that will inspire them? So what's it going to be? I'm not asking you yet to answer that, but I will soon, okay, in the class. Marshall Mathers did that. He sat down and he wrote a song and he made a video where he was reflecting back on what he left behind when he's gone. And he came to the conclusion about something, and he expressed that to us in that video. We have to understand what that is. But in a very immediate way, I would like you to do a final reflection for this class that you will be proud of. And now you have a chance to think about it in the future because it's coming. You have a chance to get ready and do the good work. Okay, so I'm going to read this out loud to you. This is the assignment sheet. I'm going to go through it. You're going to see you have many, many choices and many options in how you do this, whether it's written, whether it's a video, or even next week, you could come and give a presentation to the class too. Humanity's Destiny, Reflection 6, Final Reflection, Term Value 30%. Quote from great British poet of the 19th century when writing used to be so respected in terms of poetry. We don't really write like this anymore. When I dipped into the future, far as human eye could see, saw the vision of the world and all the wonder that would be. Alfred Tennyson, 1842. All the wonder that would be. This semester, we have explored humanity's future at a time when the world has entered a new millennium that presents significant challenges for all of us. We have looked at how to think about the future in a concrete way. We've looked at history's lessons, the next big thing, how to sustain our accelerating progress, what the prospects are for peace in a globalizing world, how science and religion endure through the ages. We have touched on space exploration and the distant future, and we have touched on, I haven't really gone into this, but you could if you want, the human brain as well as projected fates for humanity when the future has never been more uncertain. You have had time to reflect on this and should have a clearer picture of the consequences of your actions and a better sense of the importance of creative and critical thinking when considering your own future and what awaits the generations that will follow you. For your final reflection, here are your options. prepare a 4 to 5 minute video that vividly shows your vision of the world ahead. Your vision can focus on the near future, the next 100 to 200 years, or the distant future, the course of the third millennium. Alternatively, if you would like to present your vision as a written assignment, you are welcome to. It should be between 1,400 to 1,500 words. You can choose a format from the list below, or feel free to create your own format. You could reflect on what the first human settlement on Mars will be like as a video or as a written assignment. You could do a life plan for yourself, a life lesson, a diary entry from the future. You could do a research paper, a short story. You could do a personal reflection, a graphic novel, a scene from a graphic novel. Some students have done that. You could write about an improvement on a technology and reflect on that. There are many choices here that you can choose from, or you can do your own. Write or speak in a natural style, not an academic one. In other words, use the same voice that you've been using in your 5 reflections. That's the voice I want you to write in. You've been practicing in these 5 reflections for this assignment. That's what I have been trying to get you to do this semester. So all of those 5 reflections you have done, now you're going to bring the same reflectiveness, but it's going to be longer and there's going to be research in it. It's a little essay, a little personal essay. You're not presenting a thesis or encyclopedia entry. You're presenting your own imagined vision of something. Why should we care enough about your vision to want to know more? Don't assume we care, make us care. So you have to, in your opening paragraph, you have to assume that your reader, me, doesn't know anything about this. And you've got to draw me in and make me care any way you like. I'm not asking you to write in academic, technical language. I'm asking you to write well, which is draw me in, write in a way that is exciting and interesting. Forget about what you've been told in terms of writing a paper for school. That's not what this is. This is writing from your own heart and your own head in the style that you want. But it has to be written well, meaning correctly, good sentences. Or if you do a video, it has to also be put together fairly well. And I can show you examples. Your vision should showcase your creativity and critical thinking, as well as your research skills. Support your assertions with evidence. Convince us with concrete details. So a minimum of 3 independent sources must be included. That's why I was asking you in the last 2 reflections to start putting some research and references into the body of your reflection, because I wanted you to be ready for this, which is I'm asking you to have a minimum of 3 on a works cited page. And if you have any questions about what that should look like, MLA, APA, I can tell you it could be either one. If you don't understand citation format, come talk to me and I will make sure you get the help. This is your final assignment. The time to not only address in greater depth a topic that matters to you, but also to sharpen your communication skills, which are essential skills in today's connected, globalized world. Take care with your writing. Proofread your words carefully. And then I go on to give a proofreading checklist and their outcomes from the course outline you can look at, and here's the marking scheme. This is really important. Critical thinking, 1 out of 10. Creativity, 1 to 10. Integration of course material, organization clarity, and research. Does anybody have any questions about this marking scheme and what I'm asking you to do? It's really important you understand. I'm setting the bar higher now for all of you. And I know you can meet this as long as I take the time with you in advance, so you have time, you will not be able to meet these expectations well if you're writing this at the last minute. And my hope as well is that you will see that in the writing that you do, or the thinking that you do, the video that you do for this class, it might help you in your other classes. Because this is good thinking that you're going to be doing. Critical and creative thinking is very important, and that can help you in all of your courses. Critical and creative thinking. Does it make sense? You okay? Mubarak, Cece? Yeah, okay. Shivani? Yeah, okay. I
I
love
have
the
one
Indian.
quick question
I
about
never
one of
know,
the
but I
options.
know I love it. I lived for a while in southern India many years ago. And Madras. Is it from India? Yeah. And now it's Chennai, but in Madras, I spent a lot of time there many years ago. Anyways, okay. Sorry, who was that? Was that come back, please, and just
Yeah, that was
identify?
me. Sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't want to interrupt you guys.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
when you say life lesson, do you mean as a life lesson I learned, or a life lesson I want to learn? What everyone that's watching to learn?
Good question. Very no. No, this is one that you are writing about that you learned. You think that is really important. It's a life lesson that so you could want to learn it, Brandon, but you're thinking back now. Imagine yourself as a old man who's a wise wizard, and you're thinking back on this one life lesson that I learned, and I'm going to tell my children about this one life lesson that's really important. Now you write it. Here it is. So it could be what you want to learn or what you have learned, but ultimately, when you sit down to write, you're reflecting back as an older man on this lesson and what you did learn. So you can imagine that you've learned it, Brandon. You may not have yet, but you're imagining that you have, and now you're communicating it. Does that make sense? Or we can play this out with an example if you want. Would you like an example?
Sure.
Okay. This is exactly why we're having this class today, to do a little what I used to do as a television producer when I had a company, executive producing and senior producing, and I come from a long background in media and television and journalism. With my partners, we would have story meetings. We would brainstorm ideas for shows, and we would then write proposals and pitch those shows to broadcasters and channels. We would play out the idea of what our next show is going to look like before we actually film it or produce it. So here we go. We're gonna play this out with Brandon. Brandon, what would you really like to learn? What would you like that life lesson to be? Or do you feel you've learned something already at your ripe old age of 20 something? How old are you right now?
Just turned 21 yesterday.
Okay. So I'm assuming that there's a lesson you want to learn as opposed to something you have learned. Or am I wrong?
I don't know. I was just kind of just curious. I can't think of anyone on the tip of the tongue right now.
Okay, well then let's reach out to our in-person, in flesh and blood, wide awake sort of students. It's getting to that point in the afternoon, but okay, let's help him out. Shivani, what would be a life lesson that Brandon could write about that is really important? You could imagine it, or you feel like you already know it, but it's a lesson that you want to express to younger people. It might even be your legacy. What would that lesson be? Let's see. It's not easy. Think. Cece, can you think of a life lesson that you think is really important that a younger person should know about? Carol?
I just personally thought of one. Maybe networking.
Networking. Okay, let's put this down. So let's say that Brandon And we're just playing this out, okay, to help you. Okay? Brandon chooses networking. As his life lesson. Okay? So you know what you would do, Brandon, if you choose networking as your life lesson? First, you would have to ask yourself a question. After you've already said to yourself, networking, I believe, is a really, really important life lesson. Then you have to ask yourself, do I know much about life to be able to give a lesson about life lessons to a younger person right now? Do you think you know enough, Brandon, to be able to talk about the importance of a life, importance of networking?
To
Probably
me,
not.
yeah.
So then you have to do research. Then you have to do research. And you have to do some research on the importance of networking. And you need a minimum of 3 independent sources. And you do some research on networking. And you think about what you've learned from your research. And then you sit down, Brandon, and you make a video or you write your paper on here's what I have learned about networking in my life. And you can use the research as the basis for your information. So you're using your imagination, Brandon, in terms of how you see networking, and you're also using your research. And you're bringing it all together now to explain to a younger person, you're an older man now, here's what I have learned about networking. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, it's okay.
Yeah.
Does it make sense to you?
Yeah. Does it have to
Okay,
be like an
great.
old man, or just like the idea of just like an older person?
I'd like you to imagine yourself as an older person, because once you do that, you have to start imagining other things too. It forces you to think about your whole life, not just about where you are now. And imagination, I hope you've heard that message clearly this semester, is a critical part of your destiny and our destiny. We have to imagine the future. Okay? Okay, so I'm just going to check and see if there's anything here else. Otherwise, I'm going to come back to legacy, and then we're going to start to kind of wrap things up today. And we'll keep this a little bit easier today. Good. Here we go. So we've got some activity in the live chat. So let me review this and let me see. This looks like it's more just basic helping each other out. Okay, so it's Tessa and Brandon and Jalen helping each other out. That's fine for them, but there's nothing. Is there anything, Tessa, Jalen, that we should bring to the class's attention now? Or are you all good in terms of having dealt with it in the live chat?
I have a question.
Please go ahead.
It's more so like a personal question for what I was thinking of doing for my assignment.
Excellent, excellent, because that's where we're going next. That's going to be sort of the final part of the class. Yep.
So a lesson that my parents always taught me that I like still hold with me and want to teach to my younger generations is to like the basic like kill people with kindness, but it kind of goes further than that because of like how that actually like how people deal with it. If you deal with someone who's like really negative all the time and you just kill them with kindness all the time, then it brightens their day in a way.
Sure.
So I was wondering if that would be a good topic to build off of.
Absolutely. But then what will your research be? Because remember, you have to have a minimum of 3 independent sources. So where do you think you'd be going for your research? And also, Tessa, it's Tessa, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Integration of course material, remember, is one of the 5 categories, okay? So you have to refer to the content that we've covered in the class So I'm not asking you to answer these questions now. I just want you to think about it. But are you able to answer a little bit of at least the research part? What would you be researching?
I think I would more so like I don't have much background with like psychology at all, but I'm really interested in it, and I'd be interested to see what the psychology is of like how people act based off of like how they're treated and how you treat others and how it affects your mindset on the world.
Excellent. Absolutely. You're on the right track. And then integration of course material. If you think back to what we've covered in Humanities Destiny this semester, is there one thing that jumps to mind that you think you would want to refer to in our classes around your topic?
I'm kind of thinking of that day that we were talking about war.
Go on.
I could try to like bring that into it, saying that if like treating people with kindness also comes with respect as well, and listening to other people's point of view and other people's different lifestyles. So if that was like more apparent in the world, maybe less wars would happen.
Yep. Excellent. Tess, are you starting to get a feeling for what your assignment could be?
I am, yeah. Thank
Great.
you.
Okay, good. Yeah, and you have a choice. You know, if you want to do it as a video or a written paper, there are no pairs or teams allowed. You're doing this on your own. Okay, everybody is doing this on their own. And if you want examples of student work to see what other students have been doing over these last semesters in this course, I highly recommend that you look at the examples. And I'll just show you that you're there, because here on the page, look at these examples. You can see, if you want to see good examples of videos, just click on any one of these videos. There's writing, there's a PowerPoint or Prezi, there's other media. Some students have written to me and they've said, can I do an assignment on the topic in one of those examples? And I've said, sure, but did you read the assignment sheet? And they said no, because they thought this was the assignment sheet. In other words, that they're supposed to choose from these. So that's why I have to be really, I've got to go through this with you. You see there's an assignment sheet up there, okay? And then there's the assignment sheet, right? These are just examples of high quality work. So you can see the quality of work that students have done. That's all they are. But if you want to do the same topic, fine. But make sure you read the assignment sheet first, because you may see something there that's more important. And you'll see the marking scheme. You'll see the criteria. Okay. So I'd like to have a shorter class today, just because I have things I have to deal with, including an elderly mom who's been having some difficulty. But there are some other things. I've been a little, piled on with things to do lately. But we're not going to now. I want to spend just the next 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll end at 2:30, coming back to this idea of legacy. And I'm going to put each of you on the spot a little bit, okay? I'm going to have all of us pass the microphone around. And I'm going to do this in person only. But for those of you online, you can answer this question in the live chat, and we can refer to it later. But I'm going to keep this, just for the sake of time, having this with the students here in person, explaining the answer to the question. So here we go, okay? And I'll take the microphone and I'll maybe, thank you. And I'm gonna start with, well, I'll just sort of go counterclockwise, because I like being a counter type of guy. Go against the flow and, push for what's different. Shivani, first I'd like you to tell me, what does legacy mean? What do you think legacy means? Just this idea, Legacy. And I'm going to come back to Eminem. And can you tell us, what do you think legacy means? Your legacy. What does it mean? In your words, Shivani's words.
I think what will happen in future, what we think about our future.
Your future now, not our, my
Yeah,
future.
my future.
Shivani's future. Now it gets a little more personal.
Yeah.
We've been talking all about, humanity this semester, and there are things I haven't been able to really go into detail with you this semester, just for the sake of time. However, there's enough for you to think about important questions. So Shivani, what would you like your legacy to be?
Mm,
When you're gone, what would you like to have left behind? This is legacy.
I have no.
Have you ever thought about this?
No.
Good. Okay, I'm going to move it around. Now you're going to start thinking about it, okay? I'd like you to think about it, okay? Cece, have you ever thought about legacy before? Good. Do you understand what legacy means? Okay. Make sure in the next week that you understand it. If not, just email me, okay? Legacy. Understand what that word means and how it applies to your life. Very important, okay? If you have any questions, email me, okay? Good? Okay, Carol, you're never shy. So what would you like oh, you've got the microphone, okay. So what would you like your legacy to be?
Well, there's several things I might say for my future legacy, maybe. But I do believe that maybe I would say that maybe it's the understanding of what's going to happen in the future in the case of space exploration in some cases.
Talk about your life now.
And
What would you want people to say about you when you're gone?
I would say mostly the ability I have, like I love to design, create my own things.
That you were creative
I like to design my own.
and that you designed your own things and those things were good.
Hmm.
Pretty good legacy. Excellent. Thank you. Okay. I'm gonna leave Prerna to a bit later because I have a feeling she's gonna have something to say. Anikat. Okay. Go ahead. What would you like your legacy to be when you're gone? When you're gone, what are they going to say about Anikat?
I would say like in the future, there are many things which I've imagined I want to have. Like at this stage, I believe that I want to have millions of dollars, have the big house as we see in the Disney's movie, like the big house with the roof on the top, like floors of the houses.
Sure.
Live with my family over there and help people who are needy. And I believe that when I live, I don't want people to say anything. Just I want that people should remember that how much I've done. That's it.
Do you think that's what Eminem wanted his legacy to be when he was gone? When you watch the video, what do you think Eminem was telling us about what he wants people to think when he's gone?
Frankly speaking, I'll have to see the video again.
Okay, good. That's excellent. Watch the video again and see, because you might be surprised that this young, successful celebrity doesn't want to be remembered for that. really, he wants to be remembered for something else. Watch it again, okay? And you think about that. But thanks, okay? Good. I just want you to get thinking about your future, because this course has been about humanity's future. But I told you at the beginning that at the end, we would bring it back to you and how you see your future. And you can refer to everything we've dealt with this semester in terms of how you see your future. That's what matters the most. Your life. Okay, great. So you ready? Okay. Rafe? Yeah. Rafe, go ahead, okay? When you're gone, what's it going to be?
I just personally want to secure my family's future, like have a great life for my kids, my grandkids, everyone around me.
Well, I'm going to take this a little further and help you with something. I'm going to give you another little poetry. A great poet once said, you need to listen to this because it's a wonderful line. What remains is love. The rest is dross. Dross is just like nothing. It's meaningless. What remains is love. The rest is dross. So I think that Rafe has just made a fairly strong, or at least clear statement that what he wants his legacy to be is love. But is that too touchy-feely? I'm a guy saying this now, and you're a guy, and I don't know if I should be talking about these kinds of lofty emotions, but isn't that what you just said?
Pretty much.
Maybe strength too, and discipline, and all of those things that a parent represents, but ultimately that they felt your love.
I'd like to teach them hard work,
Yeah,
obviously.
for sure. Now we're getting into what Eminem was trying to tell us a little bit. Remember his little daughter coming back, and she was angry about something. He wasn't being a dad. She was angry. She was teaching him something, and she followed him all the way to one of his performances, and he realizes as he's standing there, the hell do I need all this fame? And it doesn't mean anything next to a child who's not being loved. Thanks, Rafe. Okay, Madiha, do you want to try? Okay, just think. Okay, I want you to give it. You promise me that right now in your head, which has a million thoughts going through this at this point, and you're looking at your teacher who should have shaved, and you don't even know if you can look at him any longer because he also, he's just, I'm getting bored and I want to get out of this room. That's fair. I probably feel the same way. But somewhere in your head, you're going to give some thought to your legacy. You promise? Okay. Mubarak?
Probably just having a lot of money.
What's that?
Having a lot of money.
A lot of money. Fair enough. Okay. So would you like to then be writing a little, let's say, letter from the future to your grandchildren saying that your grandfather wants to tell you about how he made a lot of money and he's really, but wait a minute. Why? What does the money mean? Your grandchild asks. What has this money done? What will it do for me?
To buy stuff I want.
How much stuff are you going to want?
A lot.
A lot. Okay. Fair enough. Maybe as you reflect about this idea of that money is so important to you, you might start to see that underneath that, there's something bigger going on in terms of the reason why you want that. Think about it, okay? I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. Nothing's bad. But there's something underneath there that's important. Is it possible that you want that money because in the past your life was not that comfortable? That you've suffered? That you've seen people around you who've suffered from where you come? And you want to make sure that your grandchildren don't suffer like they do, so they should be making money to give themselves security and comfort. Possibly? I'm not saying that's your story, but people in this class come from all over the world. When somebody says they want a lot of money, it may mean something else that's very important. Okay. So let's see. Madiha is thinking, Cece and Shivani are thinking, Aniket, we need Nico, we need Grayson, and then finally we're going to get the microphone to Prerna because she's had some interesting things to say. And Nico, well, the three of these here are good. As long as Nico is with us. Okay, good.
I've been with you the whole time.
Excellent. The Buddhist, or at least he has some, and he's a deeper thinker. So I'm curious to see what's going to come out of his mouth. What are we going to say when you're gone?
Well, what I want to do is I want to make a lot of movies.
A lot of movies.
That I've been working on them since like 10 years old. And I want to be remembered for like, I guess the inspiration I put in the characters to real life.
Nice.
Because they're all going to be like, I don't want to spoil it too much because
Use your imagination. Think out loud. We might have some ideas for you.
well, like I'm going to have some like relatable characters to some people and like however is relatable to whoever and whatever.
Are you going to do this as a video or are you going to do it as a written piece?
Written. I'm doing I can't do video editing yet.
All right. So does anybody have any advice for Nico as he begins to give us a very interesting legacy? He wants to have made films or done something where he's created relatable characters.
Not done yet.
Finish. Go ahead.
Since I'm also going into broadcasting, I want to be like the NHL broadcaster for like play-by-play, like talk during the games or whatever. I want to like do like a really good quote for like, let's say example, really good like moment.
Yes.
And I want to be remembered for that, something like that. And it's kind of hard to explain, but
I'd like you to explain it to me in 1,400 to 1,500 words with at least three independent sources. How you did that, because you're reflecting back now. You're thinking ahead to the man who's done this, and you're telling the younger person how you did that. And in the thinking, Nico, in imagining how you did that, you're going to start to see a plan for your own future that you may want to start following in some ways. This could be the first time in your life that you actually sit down and think clearly, how do I achieve what I dream of achieving? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I can tell you that the more that you plan something, the more chances you have of it succeeding.
yeah, and like I like to be remembered because like I want to like get enough money so like my parents don't have to keep working or whatever, and also like maybe enough money for like whoever is descending down from me, like a kid or whatever,
Yes.
doesn't have it super hard since the economy looks like it's gonna go up and up, whatever. So they're like, I don't know, set and it's easier for them.
You got a lot there.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see what you do with this. Now, what you say in this class today doesn't have to be your final assignment. I'm helping you to think about it, to get into the frame of mind, to be ready to do something. 2 more people left, and then we're going to conclude. I'll check in online and see what's in the live chat, and then we're going to be done. Grayson, what do you think?
I'm not really sure yet.
Failure of imagination. Failure of imagination. Try. Just for a moment. Think ahead. How is it going to go? I'm going to just put a little pressure on, but I'll take it away if it's too much. But I'm going to force a little bit of that imagination to get going. How's it going to go? I'll leave it with you. Okay? You understand what I'm looking for, right? In terms of the final assignment?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get it? Okay?
Yeah. I'll look
Unless
through
there's
it.
something you want to say now, okay? Otherwise, I'll move on. I don't want to make it too uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't know yet.
What's that?
Yeah, I don't know yet.
Okay. What I know is that when you do write it, it's going to be good because I know you write well. So, okay, Prerna, finally. Okay? She's been very thoughtful and insightful. You all have contributed, and she went over the notes, and and she's been interested in the content and been coming. Nico, Grayson, others. So Prerna, very curious. What's it going to be?
It's going to be a bit funny answer because I remember you asking this question when we had the class about genders.
Yes.
The question was a little different then. The question was, how do I want my grandchildren to remember me?
Yes. Yes.
And I remember writing this down. That's why I was like trying to figure it out. The answer then was, I want them to feel safe and secure by the amount of money I've made.
Yes, exactly.
But also remember the fact that the money I made it by doing something I love and not because I was pressured about it. But
keep going. Yeah.
Today my answer is different.
Okay.
So things have been happening for the past few weeks. And now I want my legacy to be that they remember that I care.
Yeah.
The sense of security that they get from the money, sure, it still has to happen, but that's through my individual career and that's just me.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be my legacy.
Sure.
I want, in general, people to remember that I care about them, their well-being, but I also want them to remember that it's fine if they ask for help. I want that to be my legacy. That I remind them that, yes, I'm there for you, but just remember, if you don't want me, ask anyone that you think cares.
That's lovely. Are you saying that you would like your legacy to be that Prerna was there for you?
Yes.
Prerna, let's say, was there for you. I was there.
I am here for you.
I am here.
I will be there for you.
He's like, it's good. It's good. Mubarak, I wonder if your desire to make a lot of money is because you'd like to help others with that money, your children. Would you want to say to your grandchild, I made a lot of money for me, Mubarak? Or wouldn't you rather say, I made a lot of money for you to help you? Wouldn't you want to do that? Wouldn't you want them to say, he was there for us? What a legacy. Isn't that what Eminem is saying in the end? Is he wants the legacy to be that he was there for his daughter in the end. Yes? No? I don't know. I think so. Okay. I had a feeling Prerna was going to say something that would help us, but you all have, okay? And it's really important that you understand that humanity's destiny, and this semester in this course has been helping you to understand how to think about the future, but ultimately, as you think about the whole world and the big wide world and all the problems, you start to think about, well, how is my life going to go? And what do I want my future to be? And what do I want people to say about me when I'm gone? Let's see now what's online. Okay, well, Tessa, Jalen, Brandon, anything before we begin to conclude?
I have one. I was trying to write it out, but it's really hard to
Go for
write
it.
out what I was trying to
Excellent.
say. Well, obviously for Legacy, it's like what I see Legacy. I think it's like similar to Destiny, but instead of Destiny as a whole, kind of like Destiny. Because like when I think of Destiny as something that will happen no matter what you do. But
Sure.
Legacy is more like Destiny, but you still have a way to control it.
That's a good way of looking at it. You can shape it. You can control the destiny. I like that. I can't say that's the official definition of legacy, but it's good enough for our class right now. Okay? Excellent.
And what I was trying to say was like, to me personally, to like in the point of view of the whole world, I would just like the idea of like just being a background character, not just like a normal day citizen, not that big, or well, like obviously different for loved ones, knowing me who I am, not what I was doing. Well, like if my legacy was or so happened to get popular or become like, if became a celebrity or something, I like the idea of like, like how like Sia, like the old Sia was the idea of like how she was separating her celebrity part, or like being a very anonymous, very not self-centered about her face or her identity. It was just very separate from her personal life versus her celebrity life.
Yes.
If that ever happened to me, I would like prefer like that, so it cannot be merged and affect my personal life.
Well, I like what you're starting to think through, and that you are definitely making the right references in popular culture. But ultimately, the part I really like and that I've noted on the big board behind us is you've helped us to understand what is so inherently and beautifully and irreversibly and unbreakably human. We humans on this planet have special powers over all the other creatures because of our brain power, because of our persistence. And one of the things we do so well is we can shape our own lives on this planet. We are not at the mercy of natural forces. We are starting to live much, much longer. Medical science is defying nature. People are living routinely into their 90s now, and probably you will too if you take care of yourself. We can shape our own destinies. And Brandon is absolutely right. That's legacy. If you can shape your own destiny, imagine what you can do. If you're prepared to work hard, you stay positive, you take care of yourself, you show imagination, you show courage, and you show perseverance, you're going to be proud of what you did. So next week, I'm going to come here and I will be here. And if there's anyone who wants to make a presentation, I will be here to help you do that. And you can do a presentation for whoever shows up. I will record it. There will be people maybe joining online if they can. If they don't, it will be recorded and it will be available for all the other students to watch. If I can, I will also record a brief lecture of maybe a half an hour on neuroscience, because it's something I really wanted to talk about this semester, but it's just been, I haven't been able to prepare a good enough lecture, and it usually takes a little bit of time. So I've had to put that to the side for the moment. But I will, between now and next class, next Wednesday, I'm going to record something for all of you so that you have it, and you may want to use it as part of your research material for your final assignment. I'm going to present to you some of the latest developments in neuroscience, because it's fascinating what we're learning about the human brain. But other than that, I think that we can conclude the class today. I think that you have hopefully understood what this big final reflection is going to be. You've even had a chance to brainstorm a little bit, and that you will start to think about your own future in more concrete, specific ways. Please use your imagination. That's our greatest strength as humans. We can imagine so far ahead. We can think about things that have happened so far in the past. No other animal on this planet can do that. Just us. Okay? Anything else? Nico, you good? Grayson, Anikat, Prerna, everybody, and online. Thank you, everybody. And you know where to find me on email. Otherwise, we're going to conclude, and I'm going to stop the live stream. Take care, and I'll see you next week. Okay, let me get the live chat before I... Sure. Oh, reflect. Okay, it's in announcements. So go, let me just turn this off, okay? Hold on.